All right, everyone, thank you for joining me. This is the repost to the Instagram live. So I am about to go live in a few seconds. So for those that are live, I'm a few minutes late, but you guys get the benefit of watching me in your time. So this is why I went to repost the live, because I don't understand why the lives only last 24 hours, but they do. So this is my solution to it, and I hope that you enjoy tonight's post. Hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining me. My name is Shanae Jones, and I offer a service which is called KNKY, which stands for Know the New Kinky You. I am a certified sex coach through Sex Coach University, founded by Dr. Patty Britton. And what I do is try to help individuals and couples talk about sex and sexuality in a manner that is conducive and productive for your life. Sex is one of those things that we do, as most adults, engage in the activity, but it's not something we're always comfortable with talking about. So our job tonight is to really kind of just focus on different topics. And for tonight, we've decided to talk about the concept of friends with benefits. So friends with benefits, for just in case you don't know what it is not where your friend tags along on your health insurance plan. It is a concept that, when ideal, means that there are two people who have a pre-established friendship relationship decide that they want to engage in sexual behavior. So the prerequisite for it is that the sex with benefits is that there's no expectation for a relationship, that there's no expectation that something serious will necessarily come about by you engaging in sex with a friend. Now, in most cases, friends with benefits means that it's an open relationship. You don't have a committed formal relationship. What you've decided is that you can have sex with each other and possibly with other people. If you have a friends with benefits relationship and you are exclusive in that is a relationship. That is not what you would consider friends with benefits. This type of an arrangement that you could have with a friend is something that is intended to really take the pressure off. When you're in a relationship, there are expectations, there are things that you consider. How often do you talk to them? How often do you just engage? Sorry, I had to turn the light on. I forgot to do that earlier. How often do you engage with them? There are about spending time, holidays, family time. How often do you interact? Friends with benefits kind of takes that pressure off. So you have to understand that before engaging in a friends with benefits type of relationship, that there are rules and constructs about it, because it can be difficult. It can be complicated. How well do you know your friend? So when you have a friends with benefits situation, it's implied that a friendship exists already, that somebody in your life is close to you. They know you from a personal perspective. They understand what it is that you like and the things that you like to do. When you have a friends with benefits situation with someone you're just meeting, you are both trying to establish the friendship as well as trying to establish a sexual relationship, and that can be very, very difficult. So the premise of this conversation is friends with benefits means that you are with friends. Hold on, guys. It just looked like it went off. I don't know why it would have gone off. Sorry, trying to deal with technical issues as usual. All right, let's see if we can't get the connection back. I'm sorry, everyone. I did not realize that the connection had died. I'm not really sure why, but let's go with it. All right, so we're talking about friends with benefits. And again, for those of you who are live, I completely apologize. I'm also recording this, so if you see my eyes kind of going between places, it's because I am doing the live, but I'm also recording this because, again, with Facebook Live, the stories only really last 24 hours. So I want you to be able to go back and view this just in case you didn't get the chance. So friends with benefits takes a lot of work. So what you want to do is make sure that first, the person is your actual friend. When you try to establish a friends with benefits relationship with someone new, it can really be, you know, a situation where, okay, I'm just meeting them and, you know, I don't really want to commit to a relationship, so I'm going to call it friends with benefits, but you're not actually friends. So the dynamics that you have aren't necessarily the same as you would with an organic friendship relationship. So remember that friendships happen over time. It's something that where you have a trust in a person, that you shared experiences with that person, or, you know, you have mutual interests. So you establish this relationship with someone that you are now trying to explore a different capacity than what you have previously been in your dynamic together. So take a one-night stand, right? If you have a one-night stand, the primary objective is to have sex. And if the sex is good, you might want to keep going with that sexual relationship, but not establish a formal, you know, dating, boyfriend, girlfriend, partnership. So you may call it friends with benefits when in actuality, you're not friends. So you have to both build the friend relationship as well as build the sexual relationship, because even with sex, it takes time for people to get to know each other, get to know each other's rhythms, what you like, what you don't like. All of that takes time. When you have a friendship in the beginning, you've uncomplicated some of the prerequisites for a relationship. You are really just talking about taking your relationship, the existing relationship, to a different level. So when you are working with somebody, let's say that you are meeting somebody new and you don't want to label your relationship and you're just having sex. You are associates. Let's call it associates with benefits, because you're not necessarily friends. You haven't put in the work to consider that person a friend. There are many people, and for those of you who are live, I completely apologize. The camera seems to be a little glitchy. I apologize so much, but hopefully you're still getting the context of what it is that we're talking about. Sex by itself is complicated. This is why we're here, right? We're having this conversation because sex is not something that is easy for everyone to talk about. I am the coach, the person that if you have a question, if you have an issue, a concern, or even are curious about one thing or another, it's my job to help you be your best sexual self. That's what I do. Sex being a complicated subject, when you're first meeting somebody and you have to engage, or you're willing to, not have to, but we're willing to engage in a sexual encounter with that person, it takes a lot of patience and familiarity to get to know all of those proclivities that entice a person, or to the opposite, turn a person off, that you perhaps want to avoid. Communication in all aspects of any relationship, especially in sex, is the key. When you are in a friends with benefits, and I keep going like this, friends with benefits situation, ground rules have to be established, you know. So the idea is that, you know, you're not exclusive. So that person has the right to date other people, to even have sex with other people. What you have to understand is that, you know, going to, I go music, Soul Child, think he was music social child at the time, you know, be my buddy. You know, like if I see you out with another person, I'm not going to cause a fuss. It's not going to be a big deal. That doesn't always end up being the case, right? So when you are in a relationship with somebody, whether it's friends with benefits or otherwise, emotions get stirred up. You have to talk. You have to have conversations. And the conversations are not one-time conversations. The conversations are consistent. They are regular, because one of the biggest things that can happen is that feelings change. You know, whereas you thought that you were okay with just being a friend and just having sex, that might not be okay after a while, because you might develop feelings. You might decide that you actually like this person and actually want to commit into a relationship with this person. What happens when one person's feelings develop faster than another, or develop instead of another? So there can be a complete imbalance when you're talking about friends with benefits. There can be a strain on your friendship when one person wants something that another person doesn't. When feelings are not mutual, you have to consider a lot of things. Some people stay in friends with benefits situations to remain close to that person, because perhaps they feel that, you know, if I am still having sex with them, if I am still close to them, engaging with them, then perhaps their feelings will change over time. Maybe, maybe not. You have to ask yourself those questions. You know, there are other people that perhaps feel like, you know, I know that I am not interested in having an intimate relationship with this person, but I want to, intimate being more connected than just sex. If you know that you don't want a relationship, but they do, you can kind of string people along in a relationship type fashion, where you know that the only thing that you want is really sex. So people stay in these relationship dynamics for different reasons, and sometimes they do it for selfish reasons, but in the end, what you're jeopardizing is your friendship. If you are truly friends with benefits, and friends with benefits, two different dynamics here, right? We're talking about people who perhaps, as to have a friendship, we were friends, we were cool, there are things that I want to explore. I talk to this person, and you know, they're understanding of my wants, my needs, my desires, and are perhaps willing to explore them with me. Those things, they happen. But at the end of the day, if for some reason things don't work out, the overall objective is that you can go back to being friends. If you don't have that foundation, if you don't have that ability to go back and say, you know what, we tried it, it didn't work. Perhaps the sexual chemistry wasn't there. Perhaps, you know, expectations change. The goal is to maintain the friendship. When you are in friends with benefits, FWB as the social term, I guess, I don't know what the millennials call it, but friends with benefits type of relationship, once you label it that way, what you're doing is putting yourself in a box, and you are defining what your relationship is off the break, right? That's not necessarily the best way to handle those situations, because what you're doing is you're limiting your potential for growth. When you are interacting with a person, you never know how that is going to go. There are people that I know, and a woman, an older woman that I know now, she met her husband when they were in high school, and that's the only person that she's ever been with, and you know, they have this long lasting relationship that you just don't see nowadays. There are others of us who have a whole lot of trial and error. We meet somebody, you know, we think that it could be something, and you're in that limbo stage where you just really don't know what it is. So a lot of times, if we have to label it, oh, he's just my friend with benefits. Oh, she's just my friend with benefits. We get to have sex, but we're cool. Now, let's make the distinction. Let's be very clear. If I have a person who I've known and I've cultivated a relationship with, and I have gone through the process of, they know things about my life, my family, things that are important to me. They are an active participant in my life. That is my friend. If I meet somebody at the club, at the gas station, at the grocery store, at church, that I end up having sex with, but we haven't established a true relationship, but we don't want to just say we fucking, then you might call it friends with benefits. Perhaps. What you have to understand is that regardless of the situation, rules have to be engaged. You have to define the situation that you're in. Because again, with friends with benefits, the idea is that you are not exclusive. So that person has the ability, the right, the option to be with someone else. And how will you feel if that's the case? If you walk out excuse me, to a restaurant or to any place and you see your friend, your buddy with someone else, you have to check your feelings for two reasons. One, are you good with it? Like, you're good, y'all are friends, hey, how you doing? There's nothing, no conversation about it, there's nothing that is happening that is causing you turmoil. But if you look in that situation and you see somebody that you are intimate with somebody else, and you are not comfortable with that situation, then you're not just friends with benefits. You want something more than what you currently have as part of your relationship. When it's not organic, when you haven't had that friendship, when you haven't talked about it, when you haven't established the ground rules, you are moving as you go. You're creating it as you go. And that's not always the best situation, because people have different expectations of what should be established in your relationship, or what should be. Should I call? Do I talk to you every day? Do I only call you when I want sex? Again, friends with benefits, where you were friends first. Whatever you are doing as a friend, you should continue doing as a friend. And if you happen to have sex on top of it, then you have sex on top of it. But what it's not is a replacement for your friendship. So we're talking about this because these are all things to consider, because, you know, one of the reasons why people get into these friends with benefits situations is because ideally you have a person who knows you, a person who understands you, and is willing and anxious, perhaps hopeful to go on this journey, this path with you, so you can kind of explore together and maintain your friendship. Friends with benefits, although that they can be difficult because of miscommunication, because of unmatched expectations, because of unbalanced feelings, that doesn't mean that it can't work. They can work if you do it right. So for many people, when you're exploring your sexuality, you want to do it with somebody that is close to you, that you're comfortable with, and likely that person is a friend over a stranger, right? And if you find that you have a sexual attraction to a friend, then voicing those desires to them and hopefully having those desires reciprocated is a wonderful thing. The goal, remember, is to take the pressure off. You don't want to have to go into a situation where you're wondering about, does he like me? Does she like me? Where is this going? A true friends with benefits situation is we are friends and we're going on this journey together, and we will see where it takes us. You have somebody that can help you comfortably explore your sexuality. Somebody that can ease, especially a new sexual situation, something that perhaps you were curious about and you were interested in, and you could talk to your friend and say, hey, I was interested in this, I wanted to do that, and there will, hey, I'm also interested in this and I want to do that, and you guys can explore it together. That is a primary concept of the benefits of friends with benefits. It's not just about the sex. The sex is a component, but the friendship, because it starts with friends with benefits, this is where you take the relationship, the friendship, and you now then start to explore other things of a sexual nature with someone that you trust, someone that you built a rapport with, someone that you have a history with. It can work as long as you manage expectations and communicate. So, one thing that you have to realize is that if you have the friendship first, the sexual relationship can dissipate. And we won't get into it a lot tonight, but you know, what if your buddy meets somebody and they want to pursue a relationship with someone else? Well, we go back to that box that you've put yourself in, because you're not a potential love interest candidate because you're only friends and you're only friends with benefits. You're not that person that can potentially fulfill a relationship goal if you haven't put yourself in a position to have a relationship with them. So be careful about the labels and the boxes that you put yourself in. You don't want to limit yourself if you feel, especially if you feel that there's a potential for more. You just don't want to do it. Sex, again, is something that is very, very complicated. But sex is, in general, it's not I'm not talking about the one-off, wow, bang, great sexual instance. I'm talking about the long-term rolling momentum of sex and sexuality with your partner. And as you learn each other and as you learn how you are sexually compatible and that chemistry that kind of burns in you, those things happen as you invest in each other and as you develop in your relationship. When you are a friends with benefits, you are kind of limiting your ability to build that connection because you've already established that this is not going to be any more than what it is. So, to conclude, we're going to wrap up. I've been chatting. I thought I was going to be shorter, but obviously I'm not. Limit the labels. If you have a sexual relationship with somebody and you don't know what it is, you haven't quite established what it is, you know, just go with the flow. Be chill. Let it go. Don't worry about so much about what to call it. Just, it is what it is. Be open and honest in your communications, especially as your feelings change. You know where you thought you may be cool with it and things are what they are, and they end up being something other than what they were supposed to be. Be open and honest. Just talk. Have that dialogue, because if you keep it to yourself, it's going to fester, it's going to turn into something negative, and then you start to jeopardize the friendship. If you start to feel any type of feelings of jealousy or want to begin to evaluate your feelings and kind of figure out the potential risk of maybe introducing a new dynamic to your relationship, because again, You want to be sure about what it is that you feel and potentially what that person feels, because it's a very vulnerable state to say, hey, I like you more than what I thought I was, or I want to potentially turn this friends with benefits into a relationship. You have to be very, very mindful of what that looks like for you. Maintain the friendship. That is the most important key, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier. So if you guys went bowling or movies or out to the bar for drinks or dinner or whatever it is that you were doing as friends pre-sex, do those same things. Don't let your relationship turn into a purely sexual component. Even as a person in a relationship, we're not talking friends with benefits no more. One of the things that you have to do in a relationship is maintain your friendship. Maintain that thing that brought y'all together in the first place, because that is what's going to sustain you. That is what's going to make you realize that I love them for a reason. It's not random. It's not. Also, be cognizant of the other person's feelings. So for instance, if based on a friends with benefits relationship type, you are ideally supposed to be able to go out with other people. And again, going back to our example, if you see that person out, how do you respond to it? But at the same time, if you are in that friendship, friends with benefits, do you really want to have a conversation with them about the other people in your life? How does that make them feel? What does that mean to them as far as how it is that they're expected to respond to you, and to know that they're sharing you? There are a lot of people that are good with sharing. There are a lot of people who are not. So again, be cognizant of your relationships. Unless it's been predetermined and that's a cool topic, and who did you get tonight? Who did you pull? Whatever. Be cognizant. The last piece for tonight is to always, always, always protect yourself. Your sexual health is something that should be top priority for you across the board. If you're in a monogamous relationship, the expectation is that the only two people that are fucking are you two. If something were to go awry, then somebody got to explain, because to the expectation is that shouldn't be the case. So somebody's doing something that they're not supposed to do. In an open relationship, friends with benefits, with the expectation that sex could be possible with someone else, you still want to protect your sexual health. Use condoms. Make sure that the persons that you are engaged with know that you are having multiple sexual partners. Honesty is the best policy at this point, because truth be told, when given the option, people will always go with what they want. You could be married, you could be in a serious relationship, but if somebody wants you, they're going to go for you. And if they want to have sex with you despite your relationship situation, they're going to do it. So again, honesty is the best policy. Protect your sexual health. Make sure that you are wrapping up and all of that stuff, and communicating. So again, I'm Shanae Jones. This is KNKY, which stands for Know the New Kinky You. Across all social media platforms, you can find me at DOYOUKNKY. Twitter, Instagram, of course, Facebook. This will be posted to Facebook. The YouTube. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We will post this video as well as a series. Last series was all about the brain and how it's our biggest sexual organ, and all of the neurological dynamics that impact us as sexual beings. visit the website www.doyouknky.com.